Hey guys, good evening, wherever you are in YouTube land. It's sunshine, and today I'm just going to do a tour of my garden after the freeze or the frost, and let you guys see what survived and what didn't survive. I've been watching a lot of you guys' videos and seeing your successes and failures and what you won't do again and what you will do again, and yeah, I have a few of my own to share. So let me start right here. So this is down in the big garden, and this is our 16 by 4 garden bed. And as you can see, I have half of it covered, and the other, well, I have a fourth of it. Let me see, a third of it covered. The middle is not covered, and I pulled everything out of the last part, so there's nothing there. So I didn't have to cover anything. So this right here was kind of like an experiment. I had a lot of brassicas or cabbage and greens everywhere. So I said I was going to cover some and not cover some and see what happened. And this was the bed that I did not cover. And this bed right here I did cover. And let me just let you see the difference. So if I do a close-up, these here in this bed are a variety of different cabbages, and yeah, these are just cabbage in this bed. Some Savoy cabbage in the back, and I think these are just a Bonnie head cabbage in the front. And as you see, they did okay for them to be out in the open and exposed to the cold like that, because we did get down to 14, I think was the lowest that we got, maybe a little colder, but I know for sure it at least got down to 14 degrees. And only a few leaves got a little brown on them, but the rest of them look pretty good. I think they'll be able to bounce back, and they were not covered. Now, this surprised me because this bed, like I said, is covered, and let me let you see this. Okay, on this end of the bed, these are some collards, some red acre cabbage right there in the middle, and then over here I have some broccoli and some cauliflower. And the broccoli and cauliflower, as you see, they didn't do very well at all. They just had it. Like, all of the leaves are brown. Let me do a close up on that. Yeah, you can see that broccoli head down there doesn't look too bad, but for the most part, all the leaves on here are brown, yellowish. And you see the cauliflower that did have heads on them are spongy and yucky, and yeah, they're not going to be able to make it. I'm not going to be able to save those. So I'm going to have to just clip the heads off of those and the bad leaves and see what happens. But everything on this side did well. So I'm going to go ahead and cover them back up at night when the temps are at its coldest, and let them continue to grow. Since they're doing well with the cover, I'm going to let them stay covered. And like I said, that bed is empty. This is where my eggplant was. And this bed, I have a heavy blanket over, and this is my cabbage, and as you see, or some of my cabbage, and as you see, it did great under this blanket. And this is the red acre cabbage, some green acre, some more red, some more green, and they did amazing under this blanket. I mean, they look great. The leaves are still crispy and fresh looking, and yeah, they did great. And this blanket, however, is the heaviest blanket that I have out here, and it actually resembles more of a real frost blanket, but it is actually one of my old heated blankets. And once my heating element on the blanket went out, I just took it and used it in my garden, or it got donated to the garden for just this purpose. So I'm going to continue to keep those covered and let them stay protected. Since it's working, I'm going to let it keep working. Matter of fact, I'm going to pull this little thingy out Well, I'll come back and do that. But anyway, yeah. So that worked very, very well. Now, this is what shocked me and surprised me. This is the bed that has my carrots in it. And before, my carrots were full and standing up right and they were just looking real nice, green and perky. And the cold just did a number on them. As you see, they're just droopy and some are brown. And I'm hoping that they bounce back. I mean, I didn't cover them with straw or anything because last year it seemed like my carrots did better in the cold. I mean, in the summertime, they had or springtime, I'm sorry, they had very, very little growth. But when it got cold, they just took off and they got bigger and stronger. And I mean, it didn't take any time once the cold hit. But I guess 14 degrees is just way too cold. I mean, last year it didn't get, I think it got down to 29 was the coldest last year. But this year, that 14, I guess it was just way too much. And on this side of the bed, I have some garlic. And as you see, I mulched it with some straw. And I didn't do that on that side because I was thinking that it didn't need it. But I guess I'm going to have to go back and mulch that side with straw as well. And my other beds that are actually in-ground beds, as you see, I just went on ahead and mulched them heavy with straw. Because my seedlings that have emerged in these gardens are teeny tiny. And these are just Swiss chard and kale in this bed. And over here it's more cabbage. I think these are the beds with the flat Dutch cabbage. And I did heavy straw and they did pretty good. As you can see here, the leaves still look good underneath the straw. They still look healthy. So I guess the straw did its job. And I'm going to keep going with that. I'm actually going to make sure that I come back out and put a little bit more straw down on top of these babies because it worked. And if it's working, then I'm going to keep doing it. And same thing with this bed, heavy mulch. So that worked. Okay, on to the greenhouse. And this is another thing that surprised me. Okay, inside the greenhouse, closest to the door, as you see, I have some cabbages. These are some Chinese cabbage here that I have tied up so I can go ahead and harvest those. And just a couple of different varieties of greens and turnips and mustards, and they did fine. They're great. They look great. They're gonna be fine. Yes, my citrus trees did fine. But over here on this side, where I actually have my heaters at, I was using this smaller heater here and it wasn't powerful enough, so I brought this one out and it worked just fine. Like right now it's really nice and toasty in here, but my pepper plants is right here in these containers, and over here in these beds I have tomatoes. As you can see, I have tomatoes and peppers over there as well, and it looks like the cold got to them as well. Now every time I came out here and checked, the thermometer and the temperature in here was great. My thermometer got broke, so I can't tell you how warm it is in here now, but it feels great. And yeah, my dragon fruit, as you can see right there, the tips of them look like they froze. So yeah, and back there I had a passion fruit in that container growing up that trellis, and as you see, the cold just got that one as well. And I was kind of skeptical about that one because it's up against the back, so I knew that it would probably be colder than the rest. But passion fruit can usually take some cold as well, so I really don't know what happened here. I don't know if my heater stopped working in the middle of the night and these plants were exposed to the cold or what. I know that it's not too hot, in front of the heater because it's the same heater that I've been using the whole time and they haven't done this before. So I really don't know. I think it just got too cold and they took a hit. So again with these, I'm going to harvest the tomatoes and hopefully they will bounce back. And if not, if I don't notice any new leaf growth, then we'll have to pull these up and try again. Get ready for the spring. So I guess a win some and a lose some. Yeah, and from this point, I know that I'm just going to stand in here since it's warm in here. But from this point, I know that I need to go to the Goodwill and see if I can get some more blankets that people have donated to the Goodwill. I'm gonna see if I can find some thick ones like the one that I have out there and use them for this purpose. That's a good place to go if you haven't got any. Those frost blankets get pretty expensive for just one. So if you go to the Goodwill, you can find plenty of those wool blankets and those thick ones that's made out of like flannel or fleece, like I had out there, like the ones like those hotel blankets. Those work really well as frost blankets. So yeah, I need to come up on a few myself because I actually ran out of blankets. And that was one reason why I didn't cover that one area. So, and I didn't want to take any of my blankets from the house because I need those. So yeah, that's a good idea. If you haven't been able to take advantage of that, run by your local Goodwill and try to get you some blankets to use on your plants and your trees. They work very well on your small fruit trees as well if you left them outside. Which, by the way, I did leave a couple of my, well, I left a couple. This is my loquat tree that's behind me right here, inside here. And it's really the only, yeah, it's the only tree that I have in here. I did take a couple in the house that are real small, but that's it. All the rest of them I left out because I felt like they need to get acclimated to my area. And I put them in the ground this year. Some of them I covered and some of them I didn't. I did not cover my citrus trees because I thought that they would be fine. And I actually harvested my Meyer lemons. So I had 5 or 6 little Meyer lemons. I went on ahead and harvested those before the cold. And as you see, the leaves on those or on that tree, some of them are still pretty and green and some of them are shriveled up. This is my ponderosa lemon, and I had harvested ponderosa lemons like earlier this year, but this one that's hanging on right there was still left on the tree, so I just left it out here to do its thing. And I wanted to see, and as you see, it did not make it. It's real smushy, and yeah, the outside of it is real smushy. So yeah, it's too cold. I'm just gonna go ahead and move that one into the greenhouse for the rest of the season. This little tree right here is one of those sweet Hamlin oranges, and it looks to be doing okay. I mean, it is a small tree, but it's one that's supposed to be bred right here in a local area. And she said just let it do what it does in the winter months. It needs to get its chill hours and it'll grow bigger in the spring and the summer. So I'm hoping that will do just that this year. So I went on ahead and put it in the ground. And of course my banana trees are looking terrible. The banana trees definitely took a hit. I can't even hardly see the one that was right there. But yeah, and that's a pomegranate. I have a pawpaw tree that's right there, and this is a mango tree, and I did cover those because I know those are tropical trees, and I didn't put those in the greenhouse. I just left them out here and covered them up, and I knew they were going to take a hit, but they're just kind of establishing themselves, so I'm going to let them do that and try to protect them the best way I can. And let's see if you can see over there. Those are some more banana trees, and as you see, they definitely took a hit as well. So it's okay. I'm just gonna chop the leaves off, chop them down, and let those leaves serve as mulch. A couple of plum trees right next to them, and my peach tree, my big peach tree right there. Of course, it's bare, and it's been bare for quite a while. The freeze didn't really do that, but yeah, that's it. So yeah, that's my garden, and that is the hit that it took. All the rest of my trees that's back here in the back, those are just apple trees and pear trees, and as you know, they need to get their chill hour, so they're fine. And that's it. Everything up here at the top garden, I harvested before the freeze. As you can see, let me let you see that. Yep, I harvested everything up there before the freeze. So, and here I have some pepper. I have my pepper plants in this bed here. I chopped those down, and I tried to cover them just so the base of those would be fine throughout the cold. And I have more garlic and onions planted in these little beds. So those also have the heavy straw that you see. Yeah, as you see here. Put a lot of straw to cover those up. So that's it. So that's it, guys. That's my garden that I'm sharing with you guys. Let you know what I got hit, or what plants of mine got hit with the cold and which ones did not. So now next year going forward, if it gets below, I'm gonna say 30 degrees, I'm just gonna probably cover everything if I can. So you guys have a good evening. Thanks for tuning in. And if you have time, run my playlist. I do need a bunch of watch hours. I am just now reaching the 2,000 mark, so I still need about 2,000 watch hours. So if you don't have anything to do, or at nighttime, just run my playlist. I greatly appreciate it. You ain't even got to watch it, just play it. Let it run. And I appreciate that. So you guys have a good evening. Happy New Year. If I don't make another video before then, I've been trying to get back out and make more videos. I'm definitely going to do better going forward. So tuning out. Catch you guys in these YouTube streets. Until then, y'all have a good evening.